listening to the Cave of Knowledge podcast. Join us for transformational insight, clarity, and magic as we discuss life's biggest questions, unmentionables, and cosmic secrets. Our mission is to ensure divine knowledge and hidden cosmic secrets become exposed to all. As you know, the world is changing, so we are here to provide you with insight on how to lead the new age into glory. Now is the time for us all to open our hearts and expand our minds to the sacred wisdom and gifts the universe has in store for each and every one of us. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cave of Knowledge. Hope everybody's doing well. I know this is a little bit of a pop-up episode, definitely not on the schedule by any means. We've got some other individuals coming down the pipeline that I kind of had to push back a little bit, unfortunately, but also fortunately, just because this episode is all about this global meditation celebration event that's going to be happening on Monday morning, which is the 19th of July at 11:11 a.m. GMT, 7:11 a.m. Eastern Time. Basically, it's a 1-hour worldwide meditation celebration event. I'm going to cover all the basics here. Today, I'm interviewing Anna L. or Annie, who is one of the founders of Fire the Grid. And it's an incredible story, so I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Before we get to that, I definitely want to bring to your guys' attention that the Primal Pleasure episode where I am interviewing Tabitha Jester will be either coming out this weekend or on Monday. So definitely still trying to get these episodes finished for you guys. Of course, it takes a lot to interview and edit and create all the graphics and put all of this stuff together. I am a one-man show. Seriously, thank you for your patience. So if any of you feel called to donate to the cause, this is definitely something that I'm doing on my own time, and it does take a lot of time, energy, effort, and some money in order to be able to create this stuff for you guys. So if you feel called, feel free to just donate on my website. You can go to thecaveofknowledge.com, and in the giving section, you will find my PayPal information. I welcome any and all donations. Much love and appreciation to every single one of you. Our numbers are increasing each week as we continue to share these episodes with our friends and family members, and of course, write reviews. So thank you so much as well for everyone that's taken the time to do that. Yeah, so the next episode is going to be Tabitha Jester. She is a primal pleasure advocate. She's a sensual warrior, guys. I mean, she literally helps people tap in with their sensuality, which really is a part of all the beautiful things. But most importantly, she teaches people how to love themselves again. Sorry, I keep changing the dates on you guys, but this stuff, like I said, it takes a lot of time to get this stuff done. Going back to this episode, like I said, there is going to be a worldwide meditation celebration event that will be hosted this Monday at 11:11 a.m. GMT or 7:11 a.m. Eastern Time. So you're probably wondering, what is Fire the Grid? What is this all about? Well, there are a few different people involved, actually a lot of people involved, but Shelley Yates is a woman who had a pretty intense near-death experience, and she was driving on a back road pretty much in the middle of nowhere, Nova Scotia, near a lake, and it was really bad weather. It was during the winter, and she actually hydroplaned into a lake. She had her 4-year-old son with her at the time, and they both drowned to death, basically, and they were saved and came back to life. Absolutely incredible story, because she was conscious the entire time this was going on. It was a near-death experience, so she went under, and when she did, she was met with these light beings on the other side, on the other plane, if you will. And they told her this mission, Fire the Grid, and they gave her insight on, surrender. It's going to be okay. We're going to help you. We're going to help your son. Everything's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. But they also shared a vision with her, and they showed, the new earth. And if you guys are familiar with my previous episodes, then episode 1, we talk about new earth briefly, but new earth is coming. We are all ascending. So These really are prophetic times. It's not going to necessarily happen the way that we think it's going to happen. That's usually how the world works, at least in my experience. But it's an absolutely beautiful thing. And so these beings were able to show her this vision. Well, lo and behold, years past all of this happened, turns out there were many other people that shared the exact same vision of our planet Earth. And two of these people, Anna Al, who was a famous Canadian singer who is now tapped into the spiritual community, shared the same vision. So Annie is going to tell their story today and really just educate us on ascension, educate us on the grid, the hexagonal grid that's surrounding our planet, but most importantly, our own hexagonal energy bodies and how we can influence each other in a positive way so we can move out of this chaotic time and this world that's filled with corruption and discrimination and separation. I'm going to put all this information in the show notes for you guys, so definitely check out the show notes for links. Add it to your calendar, share it with your friends, get as many other awakened souls involved. We only need 8,000 people on Monday to do this global world meditation, and it's going to create such an incredible impact for everyone. So let's listen in. Thank you so much for being here, Anna Al. It's great to speak with you. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved and how you started Fire the Grid.
Well, it started in 1990, actually. I was with a friend and I was talking with her, not even meditating or anything like that. And all of a sudden in front of me, there's a big black screen that appeared on the wall. And I was looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And all I could see was darkness. And then all of a sudden I saw this little gray, very dark gray crest appearing. And I looked at it and I said, oh, it looks like a planet, but it's either dying or dead or in a very bad shape. So all of a sudden I heard, and he chose this planet to show his glory. That's not the way I talk, and I'm not religious, but I heard that. And then I saw a white dot of light appearing in the left corner of the image. And it started to grow and grow and grow and became a big light cross. And on the sphere, I could see little dots of light appearing. And it was going faster and faster. And then it exploded like, a chain reaction. And it exploded and I had to hide my eyes behind my arms because it was too bright. And I thought, well, as soon as I'm going to put my arms down, it's going to have disappeared. But it didn't. When I put down my arms, I could see a perfect planet, all vibrant, beautiful colors, no pollution, no negativity. It looked like a jewel floating in space. And my eyes were crying for the sheer perfection and beauty of that image. And then I heard, we promise you your planet is going to look like this once we're done with her. And I started laughing. I said, yeah. In 200,000 years, I won't even be there. And I was laughing. And they said, no. I said, okay, how long is that going to take? And they said, an hour. I said, what? An hour? That's impossible. Absolutely impossible. And they said, yes, you're going to all decide to do this together and you're going to have help from outside. And then it disappeared, and my friends were looking at me, what's happening here? And I told her what I saw. And I said, do I have to start something? Do I have to organize something? But I didn't get an answer. And after 3 years of no answer, I put it on the shelf and I said, oh, maybe it's a dream, maybe it's a whatever. I didn't know what to do with it. And then in 2006, I went to a conference. It was a place where they gave conferences every year, 2 weeks with great from all over the world, like Emoto and Stephen Greer, people like that, in the paranormal. And I was taking care of Stephen Greer, which is the Disclosure Project, because I have a history with ETs as well. So I was meeting him in the morning and she was with him. Shelley Yates was with him. And he asked me, do you mind that she comes with us for breakfast? I said, no problem. And as soon as she started talking, I felt attached to her, like it was my sister or my family. And I really loved her. And It was weird because I didn't know her. So she told us about her amazing story of two miracles. She drowned and her son drowned. And if you have a chance, go see her on YouTube. She tells her story. Shelley Yates, Fire the Grid. And after that, she said, but there is a vision after, and told me the exact same vision as I had, with the same sequence of images, except that she was seeing a grid around the earth and I didn't. And she said, oh, I must have dreamed that. And I grabbed her arm and I said, I was not sleeping. I saw it too. And I'm sure we're not alone. So give me your phone number. We're going to do this. And she said, no, Annie, I imagined this. And Stephen Greer was there. And he said, no, Shelley, they showed me the same thing too. And I said, see, we're three. I'm sure there's other people that saw this. And we're going to gather them and we're going to do this. And all she had was a date, like July 17, 2007 at 11:11. But she didn't know what to do with this. So she went back home and I started calling her once a week. When are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? And after a while, she said, she's crazier than me. She believes me. And she even said to her kids, don't answer her. She's crazier than mommy. So for 2 months, she didn't answer. And then when she finally answered me, I said to her, before you hung up, why don't you believe your own story? You have doctors, you have nurses, you have hundreds of people that went through your child's room to give him energy, to revive him. Don't you think you owe something to those beings that gave you the instruction to save your child? So she decided to do it, but she said, I don't know what to do, Annie. And I said, you just have to sit down and ask. That's all you have to do. They need your permission to give you more instructions to go further, because they said to her after her drowning with her child, they told her, what you did with a dying boy with a small group of people, you're going to do with a dying planet with a big group of people. And they gave her July 17, 2007, 11:11. And so she didn't know what to do. So I sent her an album of mine that's called Spiritual Beings on the Human Journey. The last song is called Sky Sense. And we didn't know at the time, but some of our albums that we did, me and Bradfield, there are tones embedded in the songs. And those tones, she could decipher another message. So when I sent her the album and she listened to the last song, she received the whole site, the way it would look like, the pictures on it, the symbol, 3 parts, and a forward letter. And she said, there's a problem, Annie, or Anna. There's a problem with that. What? We have to do everything free. And I said, can you tell me why God asked poor people to do stuff like that? And I said to her, to bring us together. But she said, how are we going to pay for the whole thing? Because it was expensive at the time. It was $200 and we didn't have any money. So I said, I'm going to tell your story and I'm going to ask for $5 or $10 and I'm going to bring that money together. And I did. So we started. And she said, who's going to build the site for free? And I said, well, the one guy who did the music and the album, he can build sites. And she didn't feel comfortable, but I said, write him an email, tell him how you got the message. I'm sure he's gonna do it. And she did. And when he received the email, he said, does she know anything about graphic design and stuff like that? I said, no, she has trouble sending and receiving emails. So she doesn't know anything. He said, well, it's too precise. It must be coming from the light beam, so I'm going to do it. And he did. So we built the site, and after maybe 2 weeks, we had maybe 12 people, 15 people coming to the site. And he said, well, if they want to save the world, they better do better than that. I said, well, we did our part. I'm sure they're going to do something. And sure enough, a week later, Shelley received a call from George Newry from Coast to Coast, and he wanted her on his show. So the next day after the show, we had 60,000 people on the site. The site was crashing, actually, because there was too many people. So we built a second one, .org.com. And 3 weeks before the event, we had 750,000 person coming to the site and reading it. So that was those who could get in. And we did the first event, and we had second one in 2009, a third one in 2011, and I did another one on January 13, 2020, and the other one was supposed to be January 2022, but the light beings asked Shelley to do one on July 19, 2021 because of what's happening on Earth, because because of the COVID situation and stuff like that. And so that's why we've been rushing to do this at the last minute because we didn't expect
Absolutely.
it. And that's why we need everybody on board because we want to change this situation in a more positive one. And we together have a huge impact on what's happening on Earth. And we can create a beautiful, abundant future for our children and our children's children. We just have to decide to do this because we're co-creator of this world. And with our joy, because what's happening here is that we're drained of our energy by fear. And here we live a duality on Earth. Like it's either fear or love. It depends what you feed. So right now they're feeding us with fear of living. And that's why we're put in our house and we've been trapped like in a prison. But we don't need to live that. We don't need to follow that. We can create a world to recover our freedom, to recover our joy and the fun we have. And we have to put all the things that make us joyful on that day. Like everything that brings you joy, like eating an ice cream or playing with your kids, playing with your dog, skiing, swimming in the sea, like just be joyful. Find your joy and you're going to create that world because energy follows attention. If you know about quantum physics, you create where you put your energy. On that day and on after, we want to create a beautiful, abundant, joyful, harmonious world for all humans and all species on Earth. And we can do it. We can do it easily. We just have to decide and just have fun.
Absolutely.
No reason. Just have fun. That's why I said to Shelly, it's going to be the biggest party ever. So we're going to create the biggest party ever. We're going to be joyful about being human and experiencing life and experiencing beautiful emotions together.
Wow. Thank you not only for sharing, but also for everything that you guys are doing for humanity and all life and our future. And I think it's interesting because a lot of people are unaware that we're at the cusp of evolution. But most importantly, when we do evolve, it doesn't just impact ourselves. It doesn't just impact Mother Earth and our planet or the plants and the animals, but it also impacts other worlds too. You know, we are all connected.
People forgot that they're powerful. They think they're victims. They don't deserve it. But it's all a way of thinking that creates chaos at the end. So we can create something else if we decide we're powerful. If we decide we deserve better, we deserve to be happy. We deserve to have food on our table and a roof over our head. We deserve to live peacefully and be joyful. So we're going to give back the power to people just by making them aware of their power.
100%. Can you talk about how we are connected to the grid and how the grid itself works?
Yeah. Before being material, you have the energy body first. The energy grid is a reflection as a hexagon. Every human being and every living thing as a hexagon around the Earth. Like the material things on Earth are a reflection of the perfect shape of the grid around the Earth. So if you feed the energy bodies of anything, you're going to enhance life. That's why healers can heal. They heal the energy body. The cohesion of matter comes from that energy body. So when the energy body is affected by something, it affects the physical. It's always energy first and matter after. So every human being has a hexagon around the Earth that compose the Earth grid. The Earth grid is composed of all those energies and perfect image of what's on Earth, like the matter. So each human has a hexagon, and in the hexagon is crystalline and hollow. In the hexagon, there's a photon of light. And the more joyful you are, the more it goes around the hexagon faster. You either give energy to your photon and make it turn faster, or you drain energy and you drain the energies of others as well. So on the 19, by being joyful of light, is going to turn very, very, very fast. and it's going to burst into 1,000 other hexagons because we're all connected together. So we actually need 8,000 people that are aware to feed the whole grid of the earth. And I know we're more than this. So can you imagine the change we're going to bring? It's going to be amazing. The earth's going to burst into light, and all of this darkness that covers us is going to go away. You know, you cannot bring darkness into light. It's impossible. You go in a dark room with a candle, it lit up. So same thing for the earth. It's going to lit up, and we're going to bring a change, a positive change with love and joy and harmony. So that's how the grid works. And that's what they did with Evan, with Shelley's son, when he was at the hospital. They brought the energy to his grid body, and that's how they could save him. And there's other people that try this too, and it worked too. It's not only what happened with Shelley, it can happen with anyone. If you have a group of people meditating or sending energy to someone that is sick, you can help the healing of that person.
Yeah, I think it's so cool the way you explain it. I know you talk a little bit about ice cream as an example, but can you give the audience some more practical tips on how they can raise their frequency?
When you're joyful, like I said, the photon of light in your hexagon turns faster. So you just find something that brings you joy. Find something to do or to think. You don't even need to move. You just have to think of something that brings you joy. Either painting, playing music, be with friends, having a party, walk on the beach, meditating, chanting, like anything that brings you joy is gonna bring you photon of light to go faster around your hexagon. And there's a tumbling effect. Like if you're happy, when you laugh, you go in a metro station and you start laughing for nothing. People around, most of them are going to laugh too. They won't know why, but they're going to laugh. So there's a connection effect that is there. So when you're joyful and you know that many people around you are, it has a training effect like on the others. It's going to do a chain reaction of joy. And that's why it's going to burst into light, because we're all going to be joyful. Even not everybody maybe, but most people are going to be joyful because we have an effect on others. Like every conscious people that do this are going to have an effect on 1,000 around them. So it's very easy, very, very easy and simple. That's why I like the teaching of the light beings, because it's always simple and easy. The truth is simple. There's nothing complicated here. Children can understand it and do it.
Yes.
And you can sit there and look at videos with children laughing. It makes you laugh. It's simple.
Yeah, definitely. All I know is the moment that I started making finding my joy more of a priority in my life, whether it was how I started my day and just the mindset and the perspective that I chose to adopt, my life has just completely transformed. So can you talk a little bit about ascension and sort of the whole ascension process for humanity and really what that looks like overall?
Yeah, what we're living right now is a shift, quantum leap in evolution. It happens before the Cro-Magnon and the way we are right now. We have a jump. That's why there's no link in between, because we jumped. And we're at that phase now. We had like four times the chance to evolve. And of course, there's some that are going to be, they won't have the frequency to jump, but it doesn't matter because it's a path and eventually they will. But we're at the verge of jumping, like collectively, because of what's happening right now. We want something else. We want something better. So those who have the frequency will jump. There's actually a mitosis of the old earth and the new earth. And it's just going to depend on your frequency if you jump or not. It's not a matter of judgment or anything like that. It's really a frequency. If you don't have the frequency, you won't see the rainbow bridge or the vortex or whatever. I mean, something is going to happen. You remember in the Bible, it's written, there's two men in a field and one disappears and the other one stays there. That's exactly where we're going to live. We're at the verge of this moment. And that's why it's there. But it's all part of the evolution of the soul. Some souls are ready, some souls are not. And it's okay because there's a time for everything. You cannot make a child who is in a kindergarten understand a university problem. He's not ready. So he needs to go through through a certain path before being ready. So you cannot pull someone into that new field if he's not ready. It's a matter of respect too. So you cannot force it. When the soul is ready, they're going to make the jump. That's what's actually happening. We are at the verge of jumping to the new earth, and it's coming.
And I think a lot of people are also unaware that they are tuning into a higher frequency sometimes. Like there are certain type of ascension symptoms that, happen where your body's just attuning to a different frequency. For me, for example, I can't eat meat and I can't eat dairy, but I've been able to eat meat and dairy my whole life. But as soon as I had my spiritual awakening, I couldn't anymore. Like my body would just reject it. So sometimes, there are things like that happen to people, but no fear. No fear is necessary. It really is a beautiful thing. It's just part of evolution. And
go with the flow. Go with the flow.
Exactly. Go with the flow. I mean, hey, I have to say my body feels way better. So many things, there's so many benefits from obviously eating a clean diet and things like that. And so, there are certain things that you can do even on, I guess, when it comes to your diet to also help, sort of raise.
Of course. Well, they made me change my diet too.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Yep.
It helps. It helps raise your frequency. But again, nothing can be forced. You have to be ready. You have to be at that point in your life. Don't judge yourself. If you're not ready, you're not ready. You're going to feel it when it's time. That's it.
Yeah. I definitely had debated, I think, going vegetarian or even vegan for, 2 years before I even decided. I think for me, when I found out about the whole 5D and all of these different things, there was an underlying fear that I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't going to be able to make the leap, or I wasn't going to be able to ascend.
So you were in judgment.
Exactly.
You were judging. So no, that stops you from evolving. Fear and judgment.
Exactly.
Don't judge. Just be. Just
Absolutely.
Accept. Go with the flow.
Yes. Another point I want to make is that sometimes people are afraid that they're going to leave their family behind as well.
I understand that. It's not only Shelley that's been told about the new earth. Dolores Cannon talks about it too. And she explains that people that are going to be left in the third field, they won't remember us. They won't therefore miss us. And us, because we're going to be in the new field, we will know for certain that the people we left behind are going to eventually join us when they're ready. So we won't be sad either. You understand? There's no sadness possible. Be reassured. Nothing negative is going to come out of this.
Thank you so much for clarifying all of that. Even though I was able to get past those things, I want to make sure that I cover the basics for the audience, because some other people might be feeling the way that I felt before in the past. And I just really appreciate you clarifying that, because it really is a beautiful thing. And it's definitely something for us to embrace, because it is part of our path and it's what we've chosen. That's why we're here.
Don't judge either. Don't judge yourself and don't judge others, because that keeps you behind, because you're in the judgment. You're not in unconditional love. You have to be in a loving place. You have to be respectful, patient, understanding, compassionate being to be in the fifth field. So just take care of you and be kind to others as much as you can, and be patient with others.
Yeah. I have a special mentor that planted the seed for me on practicing becoming a compassionate observer. And it was definitely a huge game changer for me, especially just to even look at it that way, But also, it was very important for me because I definitely used to be a boss. So I was not as compassionate as I definitely should have been with many people. So it's just something I'm still working on every single day.
Yeah, of course. It's a process. That's why you have to be kind with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself and with others. So understand that they don't understand what you understand, and take their hands and go slowly to bring them there. Because we're all linked. The others are just an impression. They live within you. They're part of you. And that's what the teachings of the Hawaiian shamans or other shamans in the First Nations that are teaching. punishing like the others is you. Even if it's a criminal, it's you. You have to be patient and compassionate. And it's hard sometimes, very hard, but you have to be for yourself, because everything you do to others, you do to you, because there's a connection in between. And that's the problem here on Earth. Like, humans have disconnected themselves from the grid. That's why we did the first fire of the grid. We reconnected the grid of the Earth to the grid of the universe. We took the energy of the universe, and it had to go through us. Because we were disconnected, the grid of the Earth was dying. We brought that energy from the universe through us, because we became rods of light, and we fed the Earth. And this energy stayed for a year and a half, and it went around the Earth and into a cavern of crystal under Brazil. The second event, we took that energy back to the universe, because it has to go back. It has to flow. Going back, we programmed the Earth grid with our wish of a beautiful world, what we want as a new planet. So we programmed that the grid with our thoughts of the future, what we want in the future. That's what we did. On the third one, in the 2011, at 11:11, we raised the energy of the grid of the Earth to go through the light barrier. We were crossing a light barrier. If you imagine, visualize the arm of the galaxy, oh, there's a lot of light there. But the Earth and the sun, they're going through back and forth, up and under that arm. So we were going back in the arm of the galaxy. So the intensity of the light was greater than what we could absorb. So that's why we did that special meditation, to raise the frequency so high that we would be able to go through inside the arm of the galaxy, where there's tons of photons light, and we're going further in it. So it intensifies as we go in. That's why it's important to continue to raise our energy and to raise our positive thoughts and joy and harmony and love. So that's it. That's why we did those 3 meditations, the first one. And that's why we need to continue right now, because of the jump that is coming. Yeah. The light beings, they're there to guide us, because they went through it before. They're part of our future. It's like our future self that are talking to us in this time to help us go through those events. Because since we went through it once, we can message us in their path to help us go through.
Wonderful. And before we get off here, can you talk a little bit more about the music and how the music that is in the PDF, in the booklet that's on the website, which of course, all of this information, guys, is in the show notes. Can you just talk a little bit about how the music helps you access the dormant information that's inside of you that can, of course, help you raise your frequency and really prepare for ascension?
In the first event, Shelley got a message from the light beings. They asked Bradfield to put those songs together. And because in the music, within the film, some writers in art, they put tones and frequencies embedded in the art. And in our music, some of the albums have tonalities like this. And she was suggested to put an album together. We called it Light and Love. And they gave her those songs in the middle of the night. She woke up. The first song was at 3:30 in the morning. Like, she woke up because she was hearing music, and she thought her children were playing music at night. So she went down, and it was all in her head. And she said, oh, and they were saying this song 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 12 songs in that album. So they were giving her the song and the place in the album. And they said to her, Bradfield is going to do the first and the last song. He has it within him already. And when she gave him the song, he said, well, they don't really go together. And she said, well, they told me it was within him, but you have to put them together like this. And we didn't have a lot of time, so we did that album, Light and Love. And there's tonalities, and it puts your body and your spirit into a certain energy field. And it cleans your energy, and it connects you to your heart and to the earth. Each song has its place for a reason. And it's all written in the booklet. I gave the booklet on the site for free, so you can read about it. But there's links to the songs too. Those who want to listen to it or those who want to buy it, there's a link to where to buy it and stuff. So anyway, the tonality, so you can listen to music, paint, look at paintings. Sometimes writers or movies have tonalities within it to wake up the soul. It's all subliminal, but it works. So find the music and the art that touches you and listen to it.
Thank you so much for the work and everything that you've done and just the opportunity.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's fun for me to do this. It's important too, because I want our children to have a future. Right now, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Many committed suicide, and it's very sad. Like, the children are the future. We have to take care of them. We're responsible of them, of their happiness and their well-being. So, and they're the future. So we have to feed the future. We have to give them hope. And that's what we bring. We bring hope to people, because without hope, there's nothing. We give them tools to create that new world too, simple tools.